This is a video response to the brilliantly constructed and well-thought video, Rated T for Tolerance. And a shout out to Mr. Repzion for sharing this on your Facebook, because that's how I found it. Anyway, here we go.
Don't propagate your hate, because I have a higher standard on who you date.
Propagate? Do you mean propagate? Honey, okay, seriously, if you're going to make a slam poem or a rap, whatever, like this, at least use correct terminology. I mean, clearly, I don't know why you're sharing your opinion of this, because you don't have the literacy rate to even conceive of these larger ideas anyway.
Homosexuality is not innate. It is not a genetic trait. It cannot replicate the love between a man and a woman in which God did indeed create.
Gee, I think you may have missed biology class a few too many times when you were going to school. If you went to school. I mean, clearly judging by your literacy rate, I'm willing to bet you didn't experience much education, which I do feel for you in that regard, because I think everybody has a right to have a great education.
Now, I can't dictate one's life and who they call soulmate. I simply don't want them to bake in a lake of fire for the name of love's sake.
You can't dictate. Yeah, that's what you're doing by making this video. You were dictating. Tell me how that makes any logical sense.
Homosexuality can only imitate. It will always be a counterfeit, a fake. It's like a poison that intoxicates the mind, saying you can't choose your own fate.
Homosexuality can only be an imitation or a counterfeit of something different. I guess you would know this by experience. Have you fallen in love with a woman before? Have you been homosexual before? If you haven't, then maybe you should, not pretend and say that you know something when in fact you don't.
The excuse to state that sexual orientation originates at birth is a tactic to eliminate the debate that every person has the power to regulate the choices that they make. Despite your opinion, it's always a choice with whom you fornicate.
If you don't understand genetics, I really hope you don't have children, because if you do have children, they're going to be very neurotic and probably crazy. Not choosing to have sex with somebody or not is a choice, but choosing to fall in love with somebody, how is that a fucking choice? If you are convinced that loving another man or loving another woman while being the same gender is a choice, then you are half-baked, honey. Maybe, choosing to judge or not to judge, like what you're doing, is a choice. Me biologically falling in love with somebody is not a choice. I'm sorry. It's natural, it's genetic, it's biological. And until you understand that, you need to stop spouting this bullshit.
The media tries to educate that this behavior is something we must tolerate, using propaganda like movies and TV shows to indoctrinate.
Propaganda. Mistake number 2, propaganda. Holy hell. I'm thinking that the media is trying to teach acceptance, which is contrary to what you are doing right here. You are trying to teach people how to be hateful, ostracizing douchefucks.
Yet they fail to communicate the detrimental consequences to those that participate, and male-to-male contact calculate for the highest rate of new HIV and AIDS cases documented to date.
Before you start quoting statistics, maybe you should research them first, dear. I think you should actually produce some actual evidence, like resources, before you go on making generalizations like you just did.
This is not to discriminate, but to demonstrate that same-sex relations devastate the health of many. And to advocate for this lifestyle is considered love, and to go against it is labeled hate. It's like they don't see what's at stake until it's too late.
Oh, you're not discriminating. You're just carrying on God's wonderful word of understanding. Clearly, telling people that they don't have the right to love someone else is not discrimination whatsoever. It's just, kindly giving them advice. Clearly. Wow. Brain cell depletion happening right now.
In the end, there are 2 gates. One that is golden and one that separates. So what's it gonna be? Your mate or your fate?
Please, the heaven and hell references. Can somebody get me a 2x4 so I can bash my head in with it? Lack of knowledge, like this young lady is spouting, is just something that leads to hate. Like, she does not know anything. She does not understand, and she is not capable of opening her mind wide enough to understand. Yet she sits here and insults Christianity by professing to be such an avid Christian, while at the same time being so absent-minded and ignorant to actual fact. People like this demonstrate an inability to love, and I pity them. I've spent my entire life, and other gay people like me, LGBTQ people, have spent their entire lives fighting to have their love mean something. And I'm wondering if this young lady's inability to love is displaying itself in this hate. I'm sorry, but at least I know what love is. At least I can comprehend what love is. People like her have no power. They only have fear, and their own ignorance is what causes their fear. I know who I am. I know that I'm capable of experiencing love. I'm human. I have emotions. I have a heart like anyone else. And it needs to be recognized. And it should be legally recognized. Comment, rate, and subscribe, my friends. And also follow my Facebook page below. And I'll also post a link to Mr. Repzion's Facebook page too, because I'm giving him credit for showing me this video. And you guys have a good night tonight. Bye.